Welcome to the So That's Why podcast, where we unpack the science behind everyday questions. I'm Jen.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Matt.
Right, so today we're looking at something that's been bugging me for ages. Why do we think we need 8 glasses of water daily? I can't tell you how many times I've been told this by literally everyone from my mum to fitness influencers to that one co-worker who carries around a huge bottle of water.
Why are you pointing at me? I don't know. I am definitely not that co-worker.
Here's what's mental. We're basically the only animals that have convinced ourselves we need to force feed ourselves water on a schedule. You don't see wild animals setting a phone alarm to remind themselves to drink, and they seem to be doing fine.
Yeah, it's totally true. Yeah, great observation. So this whole kind of 8 glasses a day thing is a rule that's come so deeply embedded in everything that we do. It's almost like overridden our body's natural programming. So hydration is, of course, really important, but we've got this sophisticated system to manage it for us. It's called thirst.
Thirst. I'll obey my thirst. So the well-known drinks company, who we won't get into, other drinks are available, but there's got to be some science behind this, right?
Yeah, so here's where it gets interesting, well, depending on your definition of interesting. So the original 8 glasses a day thing actually comes from a misread recommendation from a report all the way back in 1945, which suggested we've got to take in 2.5 litres of total fluid per day. But that's not just from drinking water. So that means fluids from food, from coffee, tea, even beer. But somewhere along the way, that kind of 2.5 litres of total fluid has turned into 8 glasses of just water on its own.
So what you're saying is all this time we've been glued to our water bottles because of a misunderstanding.
Yep, exactly. Now, it goes without saying, good hydration is, of course, like vitally important, but so too is balance. So there was a piece of research on 5,600 people in, I think, 23 countries. And they used this clever technique called isotope tracking to reveal something really interesting about what your body actually needs.
And let me guess, right? It's not 8 glasses, is it?
Correct. It is probably not 8 glasses. And actually, when we force ourselves to overhydrate, we're putting unnecessary strain on our bodies.
For example, our kidneys have got to work overtime processing all the extra water. So what does the research actually show?
So that study I referred to, it shows that like young adult males actually need about 1.5 to 1.8 litres of drinking water a day. That's roughly 6 or 7 glasses. And for females, a little bit less, like 1.3 to 1.4 litres.
Okay. 1.3, 1.5, I don't know what that is. So how much have we been overhydrating?
So for many people, as much as 30 to 40% more than needed every day. And the thing is, like, overhydration isn't good. So as Jen mentioned, your kidneys are working harder to eliminate this excess water, and it can disrupt your electrolyte balance, and you kind of train yourself to ignore your thirst instincts.
So this explains all those times I felt like a failure because I couldn't quite finish my daily water quota.
Plus, there's the guilt, isn't there, around that. And like, I've got friends, I'm not saying it's me. It's not me, maybe, who feel guilty about having a cup of tea instead of, a glass of water.
I tell you, the guilt is real.
The guilt is real.
And that's it. And this guilt was based on that misinterpretation of recommendations from all those years ago. Because realistically, a lot of us believe our intake is too low, but actually in many cases, we're probably perfectly hydrated.
Okay, so how did we get from a recommendation that made perfect sense to here?
So, dare I say it?
Go on.
Say it.
There could be commercial interests from the rather large bottled water industry, which kind of exploded on the scene in the 70s and 80s, and that might have helped spread the word about this 8 glasses per day.
So originally, the US Food and Nutrition Board recommended about 2.5 litres of fluid daily.
Yeah, but that's the thing. This included water from every source, so not just drinking a glass of water, it's water from food and from all beverages, and that includes coffee, tea, soft drinks, even alcoholic drinks. That's all the part that got lost in this kind of 8 glasses per day.
So it's like a massive sort of multi-decade game of Chinese whispers then.
But surely there's got to be some scientific backing for a higher water intake.
Yeah, so again, as I said earlier, there's no question that like good hydration is essential. It's really a case of like questioning what are those quantities that get bandied around. And there's a well-known like kidney specialist called Dr. Heinz Valtan, And he spent years trying to find proof of this 8 glasses per day thing. And do you know what his conclusion was? He said, basically, I can't find any evidence that every person must drink at least 8 glasses a day or they're going to, spontaneously combust.
So a kidney expert couldn't find evidence for what we've all been told is essential.
Exactly right.
But tell us more about the isotope research.
Yeah, so isotope tracking, it's a bit like giving water molecules like little name tags so that we can follow them around the body. And so what happened, these participants would drink water containing this special chemical marker that I'm not going to try and pronounce. And researchers would be able to track how quickly your body processes that water.
And what did they find?
Unsurprisingly, they found loads of variation. But to put this into perspective, so some people need only 1 litre of water per day. Some people need 10 litres or more. So there could be variations of like 1,000%. And it varies based on age, based on activity level, on climate, on body size.
So everyone thinking they need exactly 8 glasses of water is like everyone trying to wear the same shoes, same size shoes.
Yeah, no, perfect analogy, really. And because your body manages hydration through sensors in your brain, and it pretty much tastes blood for salt. That sounds really weird, doesn't it? But it's true. And if the blood is too salty, that triggers your thirst sensations. If it's too watery, it sends signals to your kidneys to eliminate that excess fluid.
It tastes blood. Love this. I'm just with a nice Chianti, right?
I'd rather not think about that.
Yeah, to say it. So, I mean, maybe a better reference then is what I'm hearing is our bodies have like got a built-in sort of gauge, like a petrol gauge.
Exactly, yeah. And it's of course a pretty sophisticated one that's been refined over, thousands of years.
See, I just assumed that by the time I feel thirsty, I'm already dehydrated.
Yeah, so there is this kind of thirst is too late thing. But this idea comes from studies on athletes in extreme conditions or for elderly people where they've got impaired mechanisms. So for most healthy people in normal conditions, thirst is a perfectly fine and excellent indicator.
So what you're saying is we've pathologized perhaps a normal body function.
Yeah, in many cases. So if you think about it, your body detects when you need food, it detects when you need to sleep, when you need to go to the bathroom. So why would water detection be uniquely unreliable?
Yeah, good point. What about coffee? I've heard that that's dehydrating.
So great news for coffee fans. Although coffee gets this reputation for dehydrating, it's normally actually totally fine and can actually contribute to hydration, because even though the caffeine is known to have a kind of mild diuretic effect, the water content of coffee more than compensates for it.
So a morning coffee counts towards hydration, which is, let me tell you, this is good news for my coffee-addicted son. He loves coffee.
So the key is normal amounts. So sorry to burst any coffee lovers' bubbles, but don't go overdoing it. But yeah, for most people, normal amounts of tea, coffee, even beer, they all count towards your hydration.
I can hear the cheers.
Yeah, beer counts. This is awesome. That's much better than coffee, let me tell you. But yeah, obviously, I mean, I can't have a beer at 10 o'clock in the morning. So let's get practical. What does this look like for different people?
So if we start by taking a typical everyday office worker. So males need roughly kind of 1.8 litres of total fluid a day. And for females, a little bit less, maybe 1.3 litres. But again, that includes your morning coffee, your afternoon tea, and water that comes from your food.
So if I think about my day, if I have 2 cups of tea, a smoothie at lunch maybe, and then like 3 to 4 glasses of water throughout the afternoon and evening, I'm sorted.
Most likely, yeah. But it always depends on the circumstances. So if we were to contrast that office worker with, let's say, a construction worker based in a very hot and sunny climate, their fluid ranges are going to be much higher. Their fluid needs are higher. So it could range from 3.5 to 6 litres per day. So much more than that office worker would need.
Yeah, which is fair, right? It's like the guy laying tarmac in 40-degree heat needs more than someone whose biggest challenge is maybe going to the label printer on the desk in there, right?
So
we talked about variation. What about older adults? How do I need to change as we get older?
Yeah, so aging's fun, right? So people over 65 have diminished thirst sensation, and also their they've got less total body water content. So they do need to pay more attention to hydration and their kind of hydration strategy.
So do genetics affect it then?
They certainly do. Yeah, so genetics affect hydration needs, but personality traits can too. So people with higher anxiety tend to have higher water turnover, which could be linked to the fact that they've got increased breathing rate, increased heart rate.
So some people then will stress drink a bit like maybe not me. Somebody else stress eats chocolate. You know.
Me.
You.
No, exactly. And the other thing to bear in mind is life stages. So life stages change hydration needs too, but maybe not as much as we sometimes think. So pregnant women, for example, would need maybe 300 milliliters of water more per day. Someone breastfeeding might need 700 ml more per day. So you do need more, but maybe not to the level that people think. So there's this tendency for pregnant women or breastfeeding women to think they've got to guzzle, from sunrise to sunset to get that hydration.
Okay, so what about kids then? Because, it was a while ago, I grant you, but I remember chasing my kids around with, water bottles, trying to get them to drink.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so children are brilliant at kind of self-regulating. So when they're thirsty, you'll be the first to know. But interestingly, again, depending on what your class is interesting, milk is actually more hydrating than water due to its electrolyte content. So baby and infant formulas and milks do a very good job.
Wait, milk is more hydrating than water?
Yep, because milk can retain fluid about 50% better than water because of its sodium and protein content.
Wow, I did not know that.
There you go, fact
Every
facts.
day's a school day.
It is, exactly. So what about electrolyte drinks? I use them from time to time and I definitely feel better when I do.
Yeah, so for most people doing everyday activities, plain water's enough. It does the job. But electrolytes can give you that kind of extra edge, especially if you are like sweating a lot, exercising intently or working in hot conditions. But even for some people doing kind of light activities, some find these kind of electrolyte things help them because it makes them feel more refreshed or a bit more energized.
Yeah, I'm like you, Jen. Every morning I have, the electrolyte tablets in my water bottle. So I'm a big user. I guess my question is, do I need an intervention on this?
I think we all know you need an intervention. But
Yeah.
Maybe not for this.
not for this. Yeah, but no, not necessarily. Your kidneys might not need all that sodium that you're taking from these electrolyte drinks, but it won't do you any harm. So if you think of it as it's giving your hydration a little upgrade. So sometimes it's about performance, but sometimes it's just about how you feel.
So if we're moving away from the strict 8 glasses rule, how do we know if we're actually drinking enough?
So I'm going to take this in a slightly weird direction now, if you don't mind.
That's unlike you, Chris.
I know. Let's talk about urine. That's not a line I ever thought I'd say. Basically, your urine is the best indicator of hydration. So pale yellow or clear coloured urine means you're well hydrated. Dark yellow or amber means you need more fluids. So no apps needed. It is as simple as it sounds. Just take a look at that colour.
But what about, as well as looking at the colour, I guess, the thing which I'm more aware of is how often I pee these days. It's an old man bladder syndrome, I feel. But what about frequency? How often should I pee?
Yeah, so on average, every 2 to 4 hours is seen as reasonable. But we all have that friend who's got, the blood the size of a pea. And the key point is consistency. So there is loads of variation, but yeah, as long as you've got consistency, that's fine.
Okay, so if we want to change then our drinking water habits, what are some of the common mistakes that people seem to be making?
So often when people think I'm drinking way too much, they'll cut it out completely. So, a common mistake is swinging between this overhydration to underhydration just out of, reaction or rebellion. So if you have been someone like forcing yourself to drink constantly, your thirst signals might be a bit dulled. So if you are going to change these habits, maybe give yourself a week or two to recalibrate rather than just ditching those big water bottles altogether at once. So drink when thirsty, watch the urine colour and adjust your kind of hydration intake for things like hot weather, exercise, air conditioning, but trust your thirst.
And we're saying all fluids count, right? Coffee, soup, tea.
Exactly, and alcohol too. But again, just to do the Captain Sensible thing, everything in moderation.
Okay, thanks, Dad. So what about fluids in food then? Does that count?
It totally, and this almost comes back to the whole point of why the 8 glasses per day thing's not always accurate, because we get loads from food. It could be 20 or 30% of your daily fluid intake comes from your food. And if you think of some of the biggest examples, like cucumbers, 96% water, tomatoes, 95% water, oranges, I think 85, 86% water.
So what about in special circumstances like illness? You know, should we adjust our habits? If my kids are ill, I feel like all I say to them is, you know, make sure you're drinking, keep drinking. But I think that's just because that was what was said to me as I was growing up.
Yeah, that message is still correct though, because fever increases the needs by roughly 200 millilitres per day per degree above your normal body's temperature. So yeah, it's really important during fever. And of course, the other famous times to increase are like air travel. We know air travel dehydrates you due to the cabin pressure. But again, we're talking maybe your normal thirst level plus 1 extra glass, 2 extra glasses, not doubling intake.
Well, this is interesting, isn't it? I'm not sure if this is good news for Yeti. I seem to spend a fortune with them on these water bottles.
But it is such a great reminder, and it actually makes me curious about what else we might start seeing more clearly.
Yeah, like when did drinking water become so complicated that we needed apps and hourly reminders?
I know. I mean, there are apps for everything now, right? And let's be honest, there are very good roles for these kind of apps, but we've got to remember to trust our body too, because actually this over-management of everything, it can interfere with good health. Because if you are constantly interrupting your work or sleep for bathroom breaks, or you're feeling bloated because of over-hydration, or you're spending all that mental energy tracking absolutely everything, it affects your stress, your productivity, and your well-being.
Yeah, there's definitely been times when I've made myself anxious about drinking enough because I've not drunk enough in the day. So then I've forced myself to drink before bed. So then I've woken up in the night and disturbed my sleep. And really, it was probably unnecessary.
Yeah, and we know that poor sleep affects your mood, which affects your decision making, which affects your energy. So I guess optimizing one thing over here can undermine a whole bunch of stuff over here, right?
The body's ability to maintain its natural balance, which is known as homeostasis, is remarkable, because like your kidneys, your brain, your hormonal systems, they all work together to keep you hydrated without any conscious effort.
So what we're saying is proper hydration is about trusting our bodies.
Exactly. So sometimes the simplest approach is the most effective. Your thirst mechanism is designed by nature to tell you when you need to drink.
Well, our ancestors managed to stay hydrated by doing something revolutionary then, drinking when they were thirsty.
Exactly. So there you go. So that's why the 8 glass rule exists, and why you don't have to necessarily worry about it. Your body knows how to manage hydration. Trust your thirst. Check your urine colour. Save that mental energy for something more pressing.
Drink when you're thirsty and trust your body. It's actually smarter than you think, and that makes a lot of sense. So that's it for this week. I've learned so much about hydration, and if this has changed how you're thinking about drinking water also, make sure you hit that subscribe button, as we're going to be unpacking the science behind everyday questions each week. And tell us in the comments if there's anything you'd like us to explore. Thanks so much for geeking out with us. But for now, that's it from me.
That's it from me.
And that's it from me.
Bye.